Today, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was again in court, and today was explosive. I'm telling you, today is Friday, the 13th of June, 2025, and the prosecution came out today like a wounded lion and attacked Nnamdi Kanu from left, right, and center. I'm telling you, in fact, I have been sweating, waiting in anticipation to dish out every detail to you. So take your time, relax, and I'll walk you through today's transcript of Nnamdi Kanu's court case together. If it's your first time, please subscribe and hit on the notification bell that says all. Also, share this video, let it go round, because there is actually fire on the mountain. So just like other days, this is Nnamdi Kanu walking in the court majestically, composed, relaxed, elegant. Little did he know what they had in stock for him today. Unlike other days, little did he know what was in stock for him today. Let's go on. Like I said, today's court was explosive. So calm down. If you're cooking, please go and cover it. If you are bathing, finish up. If you are washing, round up. Because this is the explosive transcript of what transpired in court today. I'll read. So today's court proceedings kick-started with both the defense and the prosecution counsels introducing themselves after the matter has been called and mentioned by the court officials. So today, masked witness DDD identified himself as DDD. He has moved to the witness box and introduced himself as a DSS agent. Listen very carefully. Don't blink an eyelid. The preliminary examination of witness now commenced. So the prosecution counsel asked the first question. The government lawyer is now asking the witness questions. Do you know who Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is? The witness answered. Yes, he is IPOB leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who has been calling for the breakup and secession of Southeast from Nigeria. He asked him again, how can you describe him? The witness answered, he is a terrorist. The prosecution counsel asked, how did you get to know him? He answered, I knew him when he was arrested in Lagos and he incites people through Radio Biafra. Prosecution counsel asked again, where did he keep the transmitter used in airing Radio Biafra? The witness answered, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu kept it in one Benjamin Madubugu's house in Ubuli Suzo. The government's prosecution asked again, who was assigned to carry out the transmitter search? Masked witness answered, I was to carry out the search, locate the transmitter, and retrieve it, sir. Then the prosecution counsel moved towards the witness box and shows the masked witness the search warrant for the transmitter. Then he asked him, in whose name was the search warrant issued? The witness answered, in the presence of Madubuku at his house in Ubuli Suzo. Then the government lawyer prosecution asked, what are the contents of the container you found at Benjamin Madubugu's house? The witness answered, 2 pump-action guns, live bullets, 2 pistols, and cartridges. We ordered Benjamin Madubugu to open the transmitter, and when he did, we only saw household items, sir. Prosecution asked again, is what you are holding in your hand now the same video that was handed over to you for the transmitter investigation? Witness said, yes, it is, sir. Then the video evidence has now been tendered by the prosecution counsel, and presiding judge has now accepted the evidence and marked it as exhibit. Let's go on. The prosecution asked again, what were the contents of materials found during the raid of Benjamin Madubugu's house? Witness answered, 2 pump actions was found, sir, in the container. The prosecution lawyer asked, in your 25 years of work in the Southeast, how will you describe the atmosphere of the Southeast? The masked witness answered, life has been made difficult, sir, due to IPOB activities. IPOB are committing terrorist crimes and acts. The prosecution lawyer asked again, are all members of IPOB ESN also? The witness answered, yes, sir, they are. They enforce Mazi Nnamdi Kanu instructions. They attack security agents, especially the Hausa Fulani. At this point, everybody in the court burst out to laugh or chuckles. I don't think it was funny, but I felt maybe the way the witness said it and was trying to stir up ethnic sentiment was what made them laugh. Let's go on. The prosecution asked again, how do you identify ESN? Then the witness answered, they move in large groups, sir. ESN engages in more of guerrilla warfare. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu gives them instruction through Radio Biafra, especially on Biafra Day, May 30th, for them to attack especially government agencies. Our facilities always listen to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's Biafra broadcast. Then the prosecution applies to play the broadcast of May 29th, a day before Biafra Day of that year. So the prosecution asked him, how do you identify ESN? The witness said, they move in large groups, sir. So they proceeded to play the broadcast of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu on May 29th. So after that, they have ended it. And in that broadcast was a place Mazi Nnamdi Kanu mentioned where he boldly said that no business person, no mosque, and no church should be touched, should be burnt. So take note of that. It was in that broadcast that was played. So let's go on. So the witness now narrated how Ahmed Gulak was unalived on a Monday, but actually 30th of May, or Biafra Day, on 2021, which is the year in question, was actually on a Sunday and not a Monday as the witness said. That's just for that. So the prosecution lawyer took center stage and asked the witness now. The government lawyer is asking, is sit at home still ongoing? The witness answered, yes, my lord. He asked again, who is the consul? The witness answered, he is one of the feared ESN members. On April 5th, sir, he consul led an attack on the Imo prison. So now they inserted the second broadcast and it is being played right now. In this broadcast is where Nnamdi Kanu was crying on the demise of Ikonso, and he was praying for Ikonso there, questioning why he was killed at home. So Nnamdi Kanu's voice in that broadcast was being heard for the whole court to listen. So listen to it, exactly what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said in that broadcast. Ikonso was not killed on the battlefield or shot at, but in his house while he was resting. Enugu State governor chased by Fulani, and it was never reported. We will mourn Ikonso as the Oba is mourned. Hope Uzodinma approached Ikonso to manage Ebubago, and because he refused, he was killed in his home. So that broadcast ended there. So another broadcast now is being played. So in that broadcast, according to a statement from Uzoma, aka Onyami, a witness interrogated by the DSS testified against IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu, where he claimed that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu directed him to kill 2,000 people, but he only succeeded in 20. So the prosecution has now ended the reading of the witness. He has ended asking questions to the witness, and the court has gone to a few minutes break. Maybe the judge needed to drink a cup of water or to take a brief lunch because they had taken, the court session had dragged a little bit, which is normal. So the court reconvened and Justice Omotosho adjourned the case to Monday the 16th and also the 18th and the 19th respectively of June. I told you, the prosecution came prepared today. They came with bombs, just like the very first court day. You can see. And in all this, I didn't even hear one objection today. I've always said it. Do not allow your opponent's momentum to keep firing. You don't even have any way you block to check the person. Because the more someone keeps firing, the more the person grows in confidence. Today was a victory for the federal government lawyers. It's so obvious. The federal government lawyers scored a huge victory today. Look at the barrage of evidence they brought. Look at the barrage. Look at the preparation they did throughout the weeks. And I'm going to blame Nnamdi Kanu's lawyers for this, because they had 3 weeks to prepare. I know that the prosecution had the center stage, but you don't allow them take the center stage by doing nothing. When they're trying to make points that may harm your clients, that is where you should step in. Don't allow it to happen. Find a way. You saw what the prosecution did on the last court case. You saw how their lead counsel was always saying objection. The prosecution lawyer is always objecting, except he knows he doesn't have sufficient evidence on what he wants to say or does not have a backup for his objection. That's when you won't see him talk. But sometimes Nnamdi Kanu's lawyers, they can go to sleep. After doing a good job, you came today and allowed the court to, you allowed the defense to have his way. Just like that. Who does that? You are playing a match with somebody that's scoring you 1 goal, 2 goal, 3 goal. You just allow the person keep scoring till 10. If you cannot do anything, at least reduce the deficit. This whole 3 weeks break, I don't know what to use it for. Because this was an attack. A counter attack. From the air, from the land, from the sea. Choked on Kanu's neck. I'm sure he would have been sweating in that courtroom. Because you allowed him, exposed him like that. What about the videos they were playing? You couldn't even counter anyone. You couldn't even subject it to, investigation before you allowed it to be played, to know if it was doctored or if it was caught and joined. When they talked about the transmitter issue and the going to Benjamin's house, I didn't see any objection. I didn't see any refuser or rebuttal. I saw silence. You just stood there and said, bring it. Yeah, it's okay. We like it. You went to, we like it. They brought gun, they brought bomb, they brought grenade, as they said. You didn't even object to say there was nothing like that. Or never a time your client engaged in such. You kept quiet. Maybe waiting for cross-examination. Maybe. But you forget that you can also object before cross-examination. Well, that is where we are. Just about heading for victory, all of a sudden, it looks as if another roadblock is in our front. It's clear that it is getting more difficult as the days go, because this ambush really hurts me. It really hurts me. Any day Nnamdi Kanu comes out of the dungeon to the court, he hopes that that day might be his last day in the dungeon. And what happens in the court gives him hope or makes him hopeless, depending on how the lawyers made it for him. You are the ones that give glimmer of hope. You are the ones holding all the aces, the argument. And the judge is listening to everybody's opinion. You can't just come to court as a lawyer and sit down and be listening. You can't do that. Nnamdi Kanu will go back again and start asking himself, God, when? God, when? At least the other week, I'm sure he must have felt, yeah, I'm getting this done. I'm sure at the end of today, you have just set that man back. And it's paining me because I know definitely that the prosecution, needed to do something at this point, because so far they have been whitewashed by Nnamdi Kanu's lawyers. I think it's time we begin to realize that this case is dragging too much. It's dragging too much. And like I said, I've always called for a political solution, because the prosecution, of course, wants this case to keep dragging. And as long as it drags, people will be happy. Some people that want to keep him as long as possible. And they keep bringing these evidences, these videos and pictures, slowing down the court processes. I know that Omotosho has said that he's giving 4 to 6 more sessions to end this case. And I just pray he keeps to exactly the words he said, because he said he's giving everybody, the defense, the prosecution, 6 court days to bring in all witnesses, to bring in all evidences. Let's end this case. Let's end it. Let's pray he keeps to it. And this dragging from the prosecution does not make this case draw. Perhaps that's the reason why the defense kept quiet and allowed them to have their way. Who knows? But remember, 6 more days. You cannot allow them have their way for these 6 days. If they have their way for these 6 days and score victory in these 6 days, how are you going to win this case? How are you going to win this case? Because today, it's a victory for them. Because they won to this case. They really did enough. They really fought hard today. So you have 5 more days now to prove that, yes, you're still in this. We hope and pray everything works our way and the way of Nnamdi Kanu, because we need to do everything to get this man out of the DSS dungeon. He is our brother. He's our son and a great leader in the Igbo race. We cannot have such a man in the dungeon. I will always say it. If Nnamdi Kanu was from another tribe, maybe a Fulani man or a Yoruba man, by now he would have been walking free. Perhaps is a governor, or maybe made a senator or minister, or given a big contract to do a lot of things. And perhaps, but definitely you know what the plight of the Igbo is in Nigeria, and struggle to fit in, stigmatization, and the general disenfranchisement on things in the country. We keep hoping, we keep praying that he comes out of the dungeon. Thank you very much from wherever you're watching me from, around the world, Europe, America, Asia, around Africa, Antarctica, to the length and the breadth of the oceans and the high seas, and of course the icebergs in the Arctic region. Thank you. I appreciate all of you. Please stay safe out there, because the things that happen in the world right now and events that are shaping the world are shaping so fast. Remember that Igbo man and woman around you is your brother. Show love, care, and support. Let's keep doing this until we get Mazi Nnamdi Kanu out. Like, share, and subscribe. I have been your host, Chi Ne Du. Till I see you in the next video, peace.